It's the Full Court Press with Eric Franson and Jason Walker.
Welcome back to the to the show that we're doing right now.
Following the local teams, breaking down the biggest games with in-depth analysis and team interviews.
There's going to be much higher expectations, sense of awareness of what we bring to the table.
Join the show by calling into 435-752-1069 or text 435-339-0321. It's the Full Court Press.
Rose, ends up, yes! Caught! Touchdown! They did it!
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Full Court Press. Jason Walker, and I got Ajay Salvesen here with me.
I'm going to ask you now. Is the board live? Are we on air?
I'm pretty sure.
I need to ask you every week. So if someone will text in during roll call and make sure that we're on air, that'd be great.
I'm
someone
pretty
text
sure.
in now, please.
I'm like 90% sure.
That's not 100. That's not good.
Well, 5452 says, Ajay, help Jason run the board so we can hear the stream.
Oh, call. Please be on. Please be on air.
Well, he wouldn't have known. Well, I guess.
Piranhas, are we on?
I guess you said it on Twitter, so some people will know that you're on.
Where's Leon Rose?
But 9952 says yes.
Oh, thank goodness.
So,
thank you.
Thank you for the welfare check there.
I've
been doing good. I don't think I've made that mistake since the 2 days in a row.
What is your problem? Why would you do that?
What, not make mistakes?
No, why would you say that on air? Do you walk under ladders? Do you let black cats walk in front of you? Come on, Jason.
I don't let the black cat walk in front of me without petting it.
Well, I'll tell you what. I don't know what the Aggies are doing, but every first quarter they're walking underneath a ladder, a black cat walking across them. I don't know what to tell you anymore, man. Maybe it's just who they are. I don't know how to explain it to you anymore.
So we'll certainly send in your reactions on the text line 435-339-0321. Thoughts on the game? Are you satisfied with that win? Are you optimistic that the Aggies can build off of that the victory? You know, they're 2-3 now instead of 1-4, like they dang near were. But certainly that'll be one of the topics we'll be going over. Obviously, Utah State football. We'll also talk on soccer and volleyball, the weekend that they had.
That was great.
Yeah, pretty good weekend for them. Mountain West, just how the rest of the Mountain West did, their games. Were there any exciting ones?
Boise, you have a quarterback.
Yeah?
It doesn't sound like it. Honestly, that guy's Avalos job is red hot right now.
Yeah.
He needs to fix it and fix it quickly, or else he ain't going to make it through this. I'm being dead. He will not make it through the season.
I tell you, Brady Hoke's getting on the hot seat right now. They're not happy with him down in San Diego there.
Boy, I don't know what his deal is over there either. I don't know why he can't.
It's his offense that's the main problem.
Which is crazy.
So we'll get into the Mountain West. Also, high school football. We'll recap the weekend. And in the 5 o'clock hour, we will be calling for the Old Grist Mill Bread and Butter Play of the Game. John Newbold sent me the play this week, so at about 5:20 is about when we usually call for that. So you'll have a chance to call in, chance to win 4 free loaves of bread from the Old Grist Mill. So we'll have that later on the show. But let's get into this Utah State game. So the Aggies win. If you missed it, they win 34-33, dramatic fashion at the end there. But they had to, say it with me, rally from a first quarter deficit. It was only 7-0 at the end of the first quarter, although they scored early in the second.
No, okay, you say it was only 7-0 after the first quarter, but I think the stats tell you that it was like 21-0 after the first quarter.
Yeah, the thing is, I think the Aggies gained 5 yards on offense to 133.
Yeah, they had more. I think if I looked at it right, they had more first downs than we had points midway through the first half. So after the first quarter,
a lot of them the case because the Aggies only scored points with like 14 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah.
So, however many first downs they had. So, basically, last week I threw out a bunch of stats on the show, on the Monday cooldown about how Utah State had been horrible in the first quarter and a lot better in the second, third, fourth quarters combined. And you can just recycle all of those stats and just take the averages, that's about what the Aggies did in this game. Mm-hmm. 5 yards to 130, opponent's yards to Utah's points. 7 points to 0 in the first quarter. 17-0 at one point. Up until 14 seconds to go in that first half, the Aggies were down. They were down by as many as 17 points.
Well, in the first quarter, 7 first downs to nothing for Utah State. 33 passing yards for UConn to 5 for Utah State. Aggies also threw 2 picks in that quarter. UConn threw one. One of the picks wasn't Hillstead's fault. Kobe Bowman's got to be able to come down with a catch while getting hit. He's got to be able to hold on the ball if he's getting hit. It was a problem. It happened in the JMU game as well. Like, if you're catching it, you got to be able to understand that a hit's coming, be prepared for it mentally, right, physically, hands in the air, ball, hands on the ball. And anyways, I'm looking at the numbers, man. 13 minutes to 142 in time of possession. 3 of 4 on third down conversions was UConn. These numbers, it was 7-0. It should have been 14 or 21-0 for UConn after the first quarter of play. Yeah,
well, it just about was because they scored in the first the first minute of the second quarter.
Dude, yeah.
They got up to 14-0. Like it was 1 or 2 plays. It was goal to go for them at the end of the first quarter.
Then they go to the refrigerator play and they just run down your throats.
And the thing is, the Aggies just continue to not be good in the fourth quarter.
You mean first quarter?
First quarter, excuse me. Just not starting the game well. And then they got going. Like in this game, it was nothing like the entire first half. There have been some games where they turn it on in the second quarter a little bit. Kind of like James Madison, they began to turn it on in the second quarter, but just couldn't get anything going until, like I said, their last offensive play of the first half. Throw a 63-yard touchdown. Colby Bowman gets behind the defense.
How do you let that happen, by the way?
I don't know.
How do you let him get behind you? Your job is very easy. You play prevent defense. You play well behind the sticks. Anything over you get out. And they let Bowman on I don't even think it was a post. I think it was like one of those kind of like just bend it over kind of like routes where he just somehow curled behind the 2 backs.
Yeah, he just went. He wasn't even that far down. He was only about 15 yards down the field when he threw it to him, and he was already behind the defense. 15, 20 yards down the field, and I'm behind the defense. Like, how do you do that when there was 37 seconds when that play began or thereabouts, and just outran the defense? They just weren't ready for it. Just a blown coverage. Of course, good that it happened for the Aggies because that absolutely changed halftime.
Oh yeah, it's different when you're going down 17-7 instead of 17-0. But great job on Hillstead finding him quickly, right? That he didn't have it was probably his best protection he had saw in a while in that game. But as I watched the play, it's more of a skinny post if anything. But I don't know how you let him get behind. But yeah, you're right. 17-7, you go into half. You get the ball after half, and so you want to be able to punch in points then. And then we're off and rolling after that.
And they did, because they score on that first play or first possession of the second half. Of course, that's when McCae Hillstead gets knocked out of the game and Cooper Legas comes in.
How do you not call targeting on that?
I kept wondering.
Someone needs to explain to me what we were missing here.
I saw that too. I was like, why aren't they calling targeting? And there was a later play where the announcers were clueless at several points in the game. But I was like, what? They were talking about maybe they're going to call targeting on a different play, and I was like, okay, what about that one you missed? Crown of the helmet literally to the chin plate of McCae Hillstead, and they didn't call targeting.
It makes no sense at all, and I think that's what made it more.
They called targeting for a guy, it was a different game, but they called targeting on a guy who put the crown of his helmet into the hip plate of another guy.
Yeah.
I think it was the BYU game, or it was some game around local, because I saw somebody local retweet it.
But, how about with all that, I'm sure we'll get into it more, but cannot say enough about Cooper Legas. Look, everybody in Aggie Nation was just sorting him with, just this guy's trash, this guy can't do it, I don't know what his problem is, we need a new quarterback, on and on and on. He took the high road every single time. According to Coach Anderson, he was very supportive of Hillstead in the quarterback room, was very supportive on the practice field. And then, when and then Hillstead goes down, Cooper comes in like, hey, look, it's just time for me to do my job. boom, bam, jam, and all of a sudden they're in for 6, and it was like, all right, we got a shot here. And I think that really did spark the team with the professionalism that Cooper came in, the confidence that he had. Again, things that he struggled with in the first 2 games, gone. Quick throws, good decision making, got rid of the ball.
Yeah, he was slinging
no
it around.
happy feet.
Yeah, he looked so much more confident in this game. It's a guy that, took the coaching, took the kind of mental slap to the face that whole situation with him getting benched comes with, and he just took it on the chin. So, all right, let's go to work. Because there are a lot of the guys who just give up, whine, complain, put their name in the transfer portal, and they're gone. And maybe Cooper still transfers. I don't know. That's going to be a whole complicated thing for him to figure out what's best for the rest of his career. But this is a guy who, in the moment, has treated the situation the best he can. Didn't shell up, give up. He's out there still improving himself. And, he helped the Aggies win that game. Helped lead that offense of the game. McCae Hillstead gets 7 points in the first half. Cooper Legas leads the team to 24. So it's not like
incredible.
He was leading this team. And, the offense was better in the second half under Legas than it was in the first half with Hillstead. And that's oversimplifying it, but them's be the facts. So I think if you're an Aggie fan, you're at least content with Cooper Legas, who's likely going to be starting this week.
Yeah, I would imagine Cooper starts this Saturday.
Because, we got a decent report from the press conference today about Hillstead's health. Because looking at that hit and the way he left the game, I was like,
even you see him on the sideline and just the way they took him to the 10 immediately, but even the way he was walking to the bus,
it looked like
he wasn't on the same page as anybody else in that entire stadium.
Yeah, it looked like the kind of injury, the concussion that knocks you out for 2 or 3 weeks. From what Anderson said, it's he said day to day, which makes it sound like there's a chance he plays this week. I wouldn't buy into that. But you could think maybe by next week.
Yeah. Well, and day to day, we'll see. I would imagine Cooper starts this week.
Yeah.
Let's just. Look, you got through UConn. We'll worry about next week. Colorado State's a whole different animal again. It's gonna be tough with them. They always bring in an unexpected. Just always bring the unexpected when those two teams meet.
Yeah, the games are never easy.
2 of the last 4.
Let's go to the text line. We've got a few texts piling up about this game, although 7241, he's got a couple of different texts that came in.
Why do you say it like that?
What?
You just said like you were mad that he texted in. You're like 7241. It's like when 9315 texted in, you're like, it's 9315.
Well, never mind.
I know why. Never mind. Just kidding. We're good. Sorry, we're good. We're on the same page.
But 7241, he says, an ugly win is still a win, but winning by the skin of their teeth against UConn doesn't inspire much confidence for conference play. I agree with that, where it's like and maybe I'll get into this a bit later, because I've got some numbers, just like how Utah State won by 1 point. Mind you, it was on the road, so we'll note that, but won by 1 point against a team that, in terms of numbers and computer rankings, is considered one of the worst in the country.
Can I use the excuse route? How many offensive linemen actually that were regular starters started in this game?
That's true.
Dude, we are on and by the way, we're on our last hinges in regards of defense, too. Like, you have guys going, even in that UConn game, we had offensive linemen going down. We had backups playing in that game. True freshmen who were like, dude, they didn't expect to see any time at all. And not only did they see time, but they were seeing time in a different spot than they normally play. I'm going to go the excuse route because that's who I am, and I'm going to do it for Blake because Coach Anderson will not use excuses, but I will. Injuries have just absolutely depleted this team, and especially defensively, and they're still hanging on by a thread. So I know it's UConn. They're 0-5, and you're like, well, we barely scraped by. Dude, we are playing guys that have not seen the field all year and are seeing the field in different spots, and that's hard in Division I football.
So why do they keep getting injured?
Okay. Now you're asking me questions I have no idea. I don't know.
I don't know what it is with Utah State, but they seem to just be hit with the injury bug the last couple of years. And I don't know. Some people want to try and blame the training staff. For me, it's like, unless you were the worst training staff ever, I don't think it's ever the training staff's issue.
No, I think Mike Williams and his staff does a fantastic job. Yeah. They really do. I think it's just the luck of the bug. Like, you can't control a guy getting injured. I mean, you can do what you can, but you can't control him, getting hit in the head or whatever the situation might be. That's just too hard.
It's just...
It sucks. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, that is really one thing with the offensive line because they were starting, I think there was like one starter. I think Wade Meacham started the game.
Yep.
And then everyone else, like Teague Anderson, he's been a rotation guy, but I don't think he started a game yet.
Ralph freaking got in. He hadn't seen a minute on the field, and they didn't expect to see him play. Like they had no clue he was going to play, and all of a sudden, I think midway through the second, he had to come on the field. And he had to play the rest of the game. Bryce Radford, different spot, had to move over. Like, it's just one of those things, man.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. Aloa wasn't in there.
Nope.
And
Cole Motes, by the way, Cole Motes will not be in for you give another 2 or so weeks until he'll be back on the field.
Yeah, it's getting rough in that offense. A unit that's already struggled a lot this season, and now you're down to the backups behind those guys.
Yeah, or backups,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So I think Teague Anderson being in there, he's the guy who's actually, I feel like he's earned his way into more snaps where he's played pretty well.
100%, man.
Getting back to the text line, 724, and he had a couple of texts. He also had that RSL put up an inspiring performance against a big opponent after a stretch of poor form. Just need the Aggies to follow suit. RSL beat LAFC 1-0.
Is that
on
good?
Sunday. Yes, it's good.
LAFC.
Well, LAFC is a pretty good team.
Oh, they are?
They've beat up on RSL a few times.
I've never been to an RSL game.
Really?
Yeah.
You need to be.
I know. I heard they're awesome.
They are so much fun. 8908 said at least Utah or USU hasn't lost to a bad team so far, but that was close. That Air Force loss isn't looking near as bad as it first did.
Yeah. And the JMU loss isn't looking as bad. I think JMU might be undefeated by the end of the season.
Now, all of USU's losses aren't looking too bad. Iowa may be a bit shaky because they're kind of struggling a bit.
Well, not only just lost their quarterback for the year.
Yeah, that really doesn't help. But, I mean, losing to a Power 5 team on the road in your first game of the year, you just kind of wave that off a lot of times.
8908 spot on. Like, that Air Force loss, I mean, look, Air Force is going to be – they'll probably be in the Mountain West title game. I mean, that's the one team is that it's hard just to go 4 quarters in the ring with them. It really is extremely hard. They're so well disciplined, so well sound defensively, offensively. It's just impressive as all get out. Air Force is they might be ranked here in the next few weeks if they keep going the way they are.
Yeah, they're pulling in votes. I think Fresno State's
7.
the only. Yeah, they're Fresno State's ranked. Air Force maybe a couple more weeks, a couple more impressive wins will get them in.
Yeah.
And James Madison also receiving votes.
3, yeah.
So 9952 on the text line. Let's see. Okay, he had several texts, so I had to go back and see which ones. But he said, giving up 17 first-half points to a team that averaged 14 a game has me more discouraged. I wasn't optimistic to begin with. He also adds, tell the team the game starts an hour earlier than it really does. Have a full contact scrimmage simulating the first half. Then they can be ready for the start of the game.
That's not a bad idea, 9952. Yeah, again, I mean, the slow starts, and we've asked Coach ad nauseum in spades, right? Like, what is the issue, and what is at fault for the slow starts? And coaches, is like, I don't know. Like, we try to get the kids ready. You give them a speech. You get them ready. You get them out there, and then all of a sudden you're down 17-0. You're like, hello? You going to play?
It's like there's the first quarter, and I think maybe –
I don't know how to but you know what? Maybe it's just who this team is, Jason.
I think the developing theory that I'm coming with, at least based off of what Blake Anderson has said, is that he keeps talking about how this team, and I want to get into this later in the hour, but just kind of putting it out there just to chew on a little before we get into it, but this team isn't big enough or physical enough for their schedule, but they play really fast and they're able to wear teams down. That's kind of it's about the only thing I can come up with that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's wrong, maybe it's not, maybe it's right. I'm not 100% sure myself, but it seems to be the only explanation that Utah State, their offensive and defensive line aren't big or physical or talented enough or experienced enough in a lot of cases.
Sure.
And I was crunching some numbers on like how big their offensive and defensive line are compared to their opponents, and they are a bit smaller, especially on the defensive line.
Mm-hmm.
And they're lacking a ton of experience, especially on the defensive line.
Sure.
And, I mean, on offensive line, they're lacking a ton of experience in this game. But then they play so fast, they're just able to wear the other team down, I guess. Which, I'm not completely sold on that idea, but I think there's some merit to it. Just with how many plays the Aggies end up running typically. that they just wear the other team down, and they're able to, and they do have some explosive, talented players, so they wear them down, make some plays at the end of the game, and they're able to rally.
And it worked, right? Like James Madison, it worked too. Like James Madison was gassed by midway through the third. UConn was absolutely gassed in the fourth. If we go to overtime, we probably would have beaten UConn in overtime because our defense was just done. And you can't use Stafford, the refrigerator, to run every single play to get you, that first down and that touchdown in overtime. But it does. It's worked. Like they've just worn them out. I just wish we could, I don't know, find a way to wear them down in the first quarter if possible. Maybe has a better start to success.
You can't really wear down teams that are just fresh starting the game.
I know.
So that's the thing. I feel like,
man.
It feels like the Aggies aren't able to beat their opponent without wearing them down. And in the process of wearing them down, they just go down 17 points. Yeah. Back to the text line. We're going to do one more text line. We're going to go to break. 5452. So all I can say is thank you to my guy, Ike Larson. Blocked a win for us. Great finish to a wild roller coaster ride of a game. Aggies are going to need to show up in the first quarter Saturday evening at the Mav.
Dude, what's crazy about that block? So I'm sitting sideline, just like straight across from the line where Ike is at, and I kind of look at it, and the way Ike is lined up, it just didn't look like anybody was going to be able to account for him. And I don't know. Like the thing is though, I don't know if he was able to hide himself, but on the post game, Ike said that they had saw a weakness on that side of the line, but they didn't want to use it early. They didn't want to show it early. So Blake, I don't know. Crystal Ball picks a perfect time, right? Nick Peremsky, give him a lot of credit, special teams coach. But the way that he was able to pop over the line and get through to make that block tells me two things. One, UConn never saw him coming. UConn never accounted for him. I don't know how that happens. But two, Blake knew exactly when to use it because he could have used it in the first, second, or third quarter, saved it until, fourth quarter we need, we're either going to overtime or this thing's over. And Ike Larson, truly incredible, really, really special talent.
Yeah, really great. The fact that, he blocked 3 kicks last year.
Yeah.
Some guys, sometimes they can have a year like that.
Yeah.
But then teams, they account for him.
Scout you.
And then you never get another block the rest of your career.
He's still doing it.
Yeah, he's still doing it.
Dude.
It's like when you get a kick returner. They get 3 kick return touchdowns in a season. They have 0 the rest of their career, maybe 1 more.
Special Teams Mountain West Player of the Week, rightfully so, man. He was impressive.
Yeah, but when you figure out some of these guys who make these great plays on special teams, be it blocking, returning, they figure you out and you don't ever do it again. Yeah. Ike is still doing it. That's just kind of the amazing thing with him. Going to go to break here. We'll continue talking about the Aggies, getting to more of your texts on the text line. Keep sending them in to 435-339-0321. We'll be back here on 106.9 FM, 1390 AM, the Full Court Press.
S.E. Needham Jewelers is where Utah gets engaged. Couples throughout the state buy their rings from S.E. Needham Jewelers because of our low prices, extensive ring selection, and extraordinary benefits and services with financing available. Go to seneedham.com to learn more. We have many unique and beautiful engagement rings starting at $500. You'll find affordable engagement rings with our integrity price guarantee. This is why we are where Utah gets engaged. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 7. S.E. Needham Jewelers, middle of the block, at the sign of the clock.
It's cold outside, but you can keep warm inside with a quality-built, super-efficient York furnace. Count on a furnace from York because it's backed by the strongest warranties available. It's just another way we install confidence. Call Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning, your local York dealer, at 752-7272. Online at advancedheating-ac.com. York, install confidence.
We're not comfortable until you are. Advanced Heating and Air.
Spend less time at the post office. With Formax and Mint mailing systems from Les Olson IT, you can quickly, accurately, and easily process your outgoing mail and even save on postage. Fold your documents, stuff and seal your envelopes, print addresses, weigh and measure to apply proper postage, all with the click of a button. With multiple model options available, you're sure to find a Formax solution and Mint mailing device that perfectly fits your business needs.
Les Olson IT. Adams Wealth Advisors is proud to announce that they've been named as one of the best financial advisory firms in the country by USA Today. Start maximizing your wealth potential with a team of experienced advisors who specialize in working with high net worth individuals. Let Adams Wealth Advisors help you achieve your financial goals with a personalized approach to investment management and planning. For more information on how Adams Wealth Advisors can help you achieve your financial goals, go to adamswealthadvisors.com. That's adamswealthadvisors.com.
The people have spoken. Steel-coated epoxy floors of Cache Valley is the 3-time gold medalist for Best of Northern Utah. Known for their extremely durable floor coating systems, they can completely transform your concrete, garages and shops, porches and patios. They coat it all. With over 25 years of operation, Steel-coated epoxy floors is Cache Valley's premier coating professionals. Contact Steel-coated floors of Cache Valley today. Find them online at scfcachevalley.com or call 435-512-1284.
This is The Odd Couple with Chris Broussard and Rob Parker.
The Anthony Davis $186 million extension. If I'm a great perimeter player, can be on the move, or I want to be on the move, and I see Anthony Davis, I'm looking at the Lakers. For that reason alone, this is a win for the Lakers.
With Chris Broussard and Rob Parker.
Weeknights from 6 to 8 on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan. The Aggies, the Jazz, the high schools, the full court press on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
Welcome back to the Full Court Press here on 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. Jason Walker joined by Ajay Salvesen. Glad he can come in, fill in for Eric.
Oh, dude, thanks for. And by the way, can I just send my condolences and thoughts to Eric and the Franson family? Can't losing his wife, after a long illness. Eric, is one of my close friends, and Ken is just an incredible businessman. And thinking of them and the family as they celebrate the life of a wonderful woman, Pat, and I know the next few days will be hard, but hopefully it's full celebration, and thinking of them and praying for them. So
yeah, I know somebody who was, she was a big part of this company before I got here, and unfortunately, I don't think I ever got to meet her, but I know talking to people around here, she was
behind every great businessman is even a more incredible woman, and that's what Pat was to Kent. And Kent's an incredible businessman, smart, and just a great man, but. Pat was, that way he was something else. I got to meet her a couple times, and again, I know Eric, and the Franson family think fondly of her and love her dearly, of course. And thinking of them today. I know it's a hard couple days here coming up. So
yeah, keep them in your minds today and tomorrow. Eric, he won't be on the show today or tomorrow as he, focuses on more important things in his life.
Absolutely.
Going back to the text line, continuing to talk about Utah State football, their win, finally get to say win, against an FBS team. Been saying loss, close loss, nearly rallied.
Yep.
This time they rallied, they won. But does this game fill you with confidence? I know there's been some kind of, they won, but, we're getting some of those. And that's kind of where I'm at, but let's get into some of these more texts. 9315.
Oh, sorry. Go one below. That was my bad, dude. I clicked on it. That's on to me.
8968 asking, who's next up after Cooper Legas, presumably quarterback? Levi Williams, basically your only Division I guy you would trust, because after that you have Zeke Payne, who's a walk-on they brought in pretty late in the process.
Yes.
And then I guess your emergency quarterback at that point would be Chase, last name I can never pronounce.
Yeah.
He's moved to tight end. I would presume if it came down to it, I guess they might throw him in at quarterback.
Yeah, so Coop will be Levi Williams will be the backup to Coop if necessary. He'll be the emergency quarterback. Levi, by the way, is going to move on to be a Navy SEAL after the season's over.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so he's going to go join the service and go be a Navy SEAL. So this will be it for him after this year. And if needs be, then it'll be Levi.
Yeah, I know. It'd be nice to see him. Was he actually on? I think there was a special teams play.
He's been on special teams. He was on special teams against James Madison.
Guess I just hadn't noticed.
Yeah, he'll be on special teams again. So you'll see that a little bit more constantly now.
Yeah, it's great seeing a guy out there who's just really playing for the love of the game. He's
such a good dude. And, I mean, he's married he's dating, engaged, whatever it is, to one of the best volleyball players, Tatum Stahl, too. So athletics will run pretty high in that family.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe we'll see in about 18 years or so. Maybe another Aggie related.
Hopefully we can keep him as an Aggie, though, right?
Yeah, that'd be the key. Going further in the text line, back to 9-3-1-5. A couple of different texts. It says, Ike will make the NFL mark it down on the Deflators stats sheet. Or stats sheet.
He'll make it to the NFL. I don't know if he's ready after the season.
Oh, he's not going to be ready after the season.
Well, and someone tweeted out the same thing of like, hey, and I didn't want to be like, because Ike sees Twitter, right? You don't want to be like, well, Ike's not ready for the NFL. It's not my judgment. It's not my call. But
you should say it. It'll motivate him. Be even better.
I know, right? But the next time I see him, he's going to be like, hey, dude, I saw your tweet. Do it again. You're going to get blocked.
Yeah, I think as far as skill-wise and, his knack for the ball, that's something that's there. What you worry about him with is, obviously his size, experience, physicality. Those are things he's going to need to continue to develop, and I think a couple more years, you'll see that from him. And so I think he's on that trajectory. And I think that's what 9-3 is saying. He's going to make the NFL. I don't think anybody would say I could just step into the NFL right now and make an impact, because I don't think he would. But this is a guy who's definitely on that trajectory. And it's nice to see, because people have asked, like, are there any guys on this roster that you see in the NFL? And usually I think, is there anybody here who will make the NFL this upcoming draft? And the answer for me is no. There's nobody on this roster right now. But Ike is really the guy you'd say, well, he's on the trajectory. And maybe he could do that. And honestly, another guy, maybe Jalen Royals.
Yeah, I was about to tell you. And he wouldn't play. He wouldn't play the X spot. He'd probably be a Y, right? Slot formation.
Yeah,
that's going to be him. But man, Jalen's story is incredible. I know everyone's heard it already. Guy who came out to a camp that is usually for Utah and Idaho kids. Wyoming kids come out. He came from Georgia. Shows up, runs a 4.3. Some guys clocked him at a 4.28. And then they're like, all right, well, let's see if the guy can actually catch. Puts him through a bunch of, really aggressive routes. Catches everything. The guy comes from being in Georgia, comes here, and in that very same day gets a scholarship offer. Holy crap. And then has 176 yards, 3 touchdowns on, 7 catches?
Yeah, I think it was 7 catches for $185 and 3 touchdowns.
Good. I mean, dude. And what is UConn doing playing press coverage on? I told you. I swear I had this conversation with you last week. You play press on Jalen Royals, you're going to get burnt. They played press. They got burnt.
Yeah, we were talking about how, it was interesting because I know he's a speedy guy, and I was like, okay, I haven't seen him, run that deep route and throw to him. They'd thrown that to Colby Bowman, Micah Davis, but in this game, bam.
Dude,
they were throwing those deep routes.
It?
He also did his best Devin Tompkins impression where he catches on the sideline.
Loved it.
And just books it up the sideline.
Give a lot of credit to Brock Lane on the block there.
Definitely.
That was phenomenal on Brock Lane's part.
Yeah, that was something that everybody saw. I was like, yeah, he sprinted, but Brock Lane is, stonewalling his man, something that awesome. You don't always see on those.
It's just awesome.
You don't always see on those screens is such a great block. So just a great day overall from Jalen Royals, where he did everything. Catch a short pass, take it the distance. Catch a long pass over a guy, take it the distance. Catch intermediate routes and get first downs. So.
Walked your dog, mowed your lawn all in one day. He was incredible. Yeah, just great performance by him.
Yeah, he's not just a speedster. He's an all-around guy. And we'd seen him play well. Dude came into the game with 19 catches for 197 yards. Just about doubled his receiving total.
And I know people peg Terrell Vaughn and say, well, he had 0 catches. Stop. Okay, they eyed and they doubled and they shadowed Terrell Vaughn that whole entire game. And I mean the whole entire game. They had a guy on top shadowing Terrell Vaughn.
Yeah.
And so that's great. You know what? And by the way, do you know who is really happy for Jalen Royals? The most happiest guy? Terrell Vaughn.
Yeah.
He's a teammate. He's unselfish.
I'll say this. If you ever, maybe if you're the team of or you're the opponent of a team where you say, oh, yeah, we held their leading receiver to 0 catches, but another guy on the team had 185 yards, you failed.
Yeah, exactly. 3 touchdowns and burnt you guys 3 times. And it was interesting on the, I was listening to Jim Mora's post game. He said the first one was a bad call, second one was broken coverage, third one was busted coverage, and fourth one was just a flat-out all-around defense fault.
Doesn't want to give credit where it's due.
He just didn't want to give credit to Jalen Royals. I was like, dude, how about you just give the guy credit for actually running a solid route?
Yeah,
anyway, you got a bunch of texts. Sorry, blows my mind sometimes.
Back to the text line 1678.
Okay.
This shouldn't even be a hard decision who starts. Aggies will lose with Hillstead at QB. Cooper is our best shot at winning.
Wow.
Hillstead's going to sit. Most likely. I don't want to proclaim anything, but just experience observing people coming back from concussions, they do not start within a week.
No, they won't. But I will say this, 1678, respectfully, I will say this. When Hillstead's healthy, he'll be back as the starting quarterback for Utah State.
And that's the thing is that Hillstead, the offense was generally performing better under Hillstead. Like I said, there is credit to Cooper Legas. If he comes out in this next game and absolutely slings it, the way Hillstead was, where he shows the confidence, because that's the biggest difference between Hillstead and Legas, is I don't think Hillstead has that much of a better arm, if anything. He doesn't throw, a super...
It's not a frozen rope.
Yeah, he doesn't throw too many, any more tight spirals than Cooper Legas does. There's nothing physically that Hillstead has over Legas. In fact, in terms of physicals, you'd lean with Cooper Legas. The issue came with confidence, with decision-making, and more particularly quick decision-making. I don't know if Legas' decision-making was the problem. It was the quick decision-making.
Well, yeah, and there were pauses on throws, and then he'd go to a second read, and instead of just being pop, 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 it was think about it, then throw. But and when 1678 does say, respectively, Cooper is a better quarterback, and that's fine. But I think from what we've heard from Coach Anderson the last 2 weeks, I should say, Hillstead, has performed well. And really, look, the 17-0 deficit I get, and there was 2 picks. One that was his fault on a bad throw. The second one, Bowman's got to catch it. Other than that, Hillstead did nothing to lose his job.
Yeah, I think Anderson, he said that after. He said Hillstead's done nothing to lose his job at this point.
Yeah.
Doesn't want to have Hillstead lose that job to injury.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Cooper has a chance to win this job back.
Sure does.
With his play. He certainly made a good start of it. And,
it would help getting a win over Colorado State this week. That would do wonders, and that would go a long ways to getting that job back.
Yeah, that would certainly help. And we've seen good out of Cooper Legas, but the thing is we saw a lot of really good out of Hillstead. So we'll see exactly how this goes.
Yeah.
9 through 5, he says I missed one, and I think he's right. I did miss one of his texts, where he says, just need B vitamins for the first quarter.
I think he's talking about me.
I think he's talking about the Aggies.
Dude, I was so out of it. Oh, man, that was such an early morning.
Yeah, I didn't have any problems with morning, but I wasn't
good for
traveling
you.
Cross country to then have it be 12
Dude,
o'clock.
Dude, it was so weird. It was like, okay, good afternoon, morning. Yeah, it was weird.
Whatever it is.
The flight home was brutal, by the way. Oh, God.
0443 is asking, Ajay, what are your thoughts on Jimmy Butler's new look?
Yeah, what the fetch was that?
I've not seen
I was having a great day on Twitter. I was just scrolling casually, and then I see Jimmy Butler looked like Rihanna with a mustache and 30 pounds lighter.
I'm going to have to go look this up now.
No, don't. I mean, look, if you want to ruin your love for Rihanna's looks, then go look at it. But otherwise, 0443, I was terrified for everybody. Everybody's grounded who had to watch that. We're all grounded.
8084 says, now that Anthony Tucker isn't calling plays, the Aggies offense is better off, but now this year we are deciding between QB Cooper Legas or freshman QB that throws mostly bad passes and interceptions.
Ooh, wow.
The ball needs to be in Cooper's hands.
Cooper was throwing interceptions too, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And there wasn't some great reads by Cooper. Look, and I love the Cooper loyalty. I do. I think it's awesome. That's what makes Aggie Nation great. They're loyal to their guys, but I think when we see tape on the film, we see what the mistakes that our freshman was making, that was the same mistakes that Legas was making. I mean, can we be honest? Is that okay?
Yeah, as far as the interceptions, yeah, because, and to be honest, a lot of the interceptions Cooper Legas has thrown, a lot of them aren't his fault, but some of them definitely are. And with McCae Hillstead, I think there's one really bad interception against James Madison.
Oh, yeah.
The one, you can argue the two against, because I think that he was at fault at least partially for both of those interceptions. Like, there are a lot of people who, with the second interception, that didn't really blame him, but he threw that pass behind his man, and then when he's reaching behind, he tips it up and it goes into the defense. Like, that was at least partially on Hillstead.
Sure.
People took away blame, and I think he actually deserves some blame for that throw.
Sure.
And then he underthrows his wide receiver so that Jackson Mitchell can catch it. If he throws that more in front, I think he was trying to avoid a safety who may have didn't want to throw into that window. But still, he throws it behind his receiver, and he puts it in a spot where the defender has a chance to catch the ball.
It should have been picked off, too. Like, Jackson Mitchell had every right to be gone for 6 with that. And you're right. I mean, you gotta put it in front of him, and he knows that. I mean, but, like, I see some of those throws that Hillstead made, and I say, well, those are the same mistakes that Cooper made. I mean, now it's a freshman, and so you're looking at that, and I think it kind of cancels out. Now you're looking at, again, decision-making, right? Quick decision-making. I think Hillstead's been throwing it with confidence, on quick routes. I did like what I saw from Cooper, though. When he came in, it was, I'm not going to think about it. I'm just going to throw it. And when he was, when he just, steps up on the hitch and lets it rip, my gosh, it's awesome. It's a frozen rope, and it's right on target. I love that. Give me that this Saturday against Colorado State, and I think we got a conversation to have about Cooper getting his job back.
Yeah. I want to go to 6294. Says recency bias running rampant today concerning USU quarterbacks. I think maybe a little bit, but I think there is a lot of people who have believed in Cooper Legas, and a lot of us believed in him before the season.
Sure.
And I don't think that's really gone away. We were just frustrated with the offense. We saw Hillstead come in. We saw how well he played, so we were loving McCae Hillstead. And I think there's still a belief that Cooper Legas can be a good quarterback. And I think both me and you are there with Legas showed good things, but there are obviously a lot of mistakes. Hillstead came in, wasn't making those mistakes as often, and he's also throwing a lot of good passes. So that's why we've liked Hillstead a little bit more than Cooper Legas. And I feel like that's the way we need to word it, is that we like Hillstead more than Legas. Not so much that we hate Legas and just think that Hillstead's the only option.
I mean,
because I wouldn't say that's true.
But now you're in conference play, and you got to put the person who's going to give you the best chance to win offensively, scoring points. You have to look at it and say, who's going to move the ball down the field for me every single drive? Who's going to actually give us the best chance to score every single game? And who's going to be able to move a fast-paced offense consistently without continually killing us with turnovers. And that's a decision that Coach Anderson and Coach Seffel are going to have to make. I was just looking at 0366 text. We missed him. He says, I think I should hit Ike should hit the transfer portal and go somewhere where he can really shine. Just kidding. Easy. BYU's got some big bucks, and I can promise you they're probably flashing them right now, one way or another.
Yeah, we'll see. You always worry about guys playing too well. I know Eric, he likes to kind of laugh. The defeatist mindset. Just enjoy the guys while they're here. Enjoy them and don't be constantly worrying that they're going to transfer somewhere else. But
oh, jeez.
Unfortunately, that is a reality.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I've caught up on most of these.
I think we got 2 more left, right?
Because I went slightly out of order on a couple of these. But
yes, you did.
7241 texting again. What ridiculous outcome do you predict at the end of the game against Colorado State? We all know something crazy is bound to happen.
Okay. This is a fun game. I love this 7241. Great question.
Yeah. So we've had kind of recap. We've had a touchdown called back because of
Hail Mary called back. Preston Williams
for the out of bounds, so illegal touching.
I was sitting in the freaking corner right there, and I about threw up.
I was up in the stands on that corner. Me and my 2 brothers were there. And then there was a game that was canceled.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Oh, that's right. We had the forfeit.
Yeah. And then you had
let's kick a field goal even though we don't need to kick a field goal right now.
Yeah, they messed up the field goal, barely got it off, missed it, and then
I think that does it. So 3 out of 4 years we've had something back.
And then the year after that, it wasn't as crazy. It was just the Aggies were down to like their 4th quarterback.
Oh yeah,
Bishop Davenport. And then I think Colorado State were down to like their 2nd or 3rd string quarterback.
Okay, so I'm gonna go. I'm going to say the Aggies have something crazy happen on the offensive end this time. Instead of Preston Williams, Hail Mary being called off, instead of the Colorado State special teams, screwing it up, I'm going to say Aggie offense scores a certain amount of points in a very little amount of time to come back and win it.
I think it's going to be a high-scoring game.
Oh, good.
I feel like it may not be this crazy ending. Maybe there's a last-minute drive, but I feel like we're going to end up with a bunch of points scored by both of these teams. Mm-hmm. Maybe it goes to overtime. That's the craziness I would try and predict. We need to take another timeout. We're getting more text in the text line, so we'll continue that conversation on the other side of this break. Got to stay ahead of this. So we'll be back here on the Full Court Press, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM, The Fan.
This is Jay from Daryl's Appliance. Scratch and Dent appliances are a great way to save big money on nearly perfect machines. Is your washer out of service? We just got a surplus of Scratch and Dent washers, so we are offering an additional 10% off Scratch and Dent laundry appliances until October 7th. Find the coupon on our website, darylsappliance.com. Don't forget Daryl's exclusive 2-year extended warranty free on Scratch and Dent appliances. That's at Daryl's, where service always comes first. Daryl's West on Airport Road.
This is Ryan at My Mattress. My brother Travis and I opened our first store here in Logan in 2010 by Big 5 Sports. Recently, we opened our second location by Red Balloon Toys. We carry the world's best beds, IntelliBed Purple, Tempur-Pedic, and Sealy Posturepedic. And yes, we are the ones that tease Lewiston once in a while. We're 6th generation Cache Valley family, and chances are that you or your neighbor have bought a bed from us, and we value that more than anything. Come into the North or South My Mattress today and sleep better tonight. Isn't it time to sleep exceptionally?
Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat, the Allergy Clinic and Hearing Aid Center are located in North Logan in the Three Peaks Medical Plaza and Providence on Gateway Drive. Doctors Benyon, Blotter, and Robinette and staff have over 75 years of combined medical experience, providing the very best patient care for ear, nose, and throat conditions. Most insurance products, including SelectMed, are accepted. Go to CacheValleyENT.com. That's CacheValleyENT.com for appointments and details. Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat, located in North Logan and Providence.
Nearly 21 years ago, Cafe Sabor opened their doors in historic Logan train station with the help of hundreds of amazing employees and patronage of thousands of wonderful customers. Cafe Sabor is proud to have been voted 3 years in a row Cache Valley's favorite Mexican restaurant in the Best of Northern Utah contest. Follow Cafe Sabor on social media for giveaways and promotions. Search Cafe Sabor for a restaurant near you. Thank you, Cache Valley, from your friends at Cafe Sabor.
We are pleased to introduce the new Liberty Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram in Montpelier. For generations, we have served the local community, and we've been so thrilled to be your choice for new and used vehicles. Well, our community is changing, growing, and expanding, and we're right here growing with you. We are so proud to serve the people of Idaho, Wyoming, and Utah. We're the new Liberty Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram in Montpelier with warranty forever. Come and see us.
The Cache Valley Media Group is currently looking for a traffic coordinator and an administrative assistant. Duties include scheduling radio and digital ads, assisting with sales, answering phones, greeting the public, and data entry with a high level of accuracy. Must have knowledge of Excel and Word and have basic accounting experience. Previous media experience is a plus, but not required. Spanish is helpful. Starting pay is $16 per hour. Benefits and training provided. Send resume to jobs@cvradio.com. That's jobs@cvradio.com. An equal opportunity employer.
Following the local teams, it's the Full Court Press with Eric Franson and Jason Walker.
Welcome back, Full Court Press. Jason Walker here with Ajay Salvesen. So we got the text line coming in here. A lot of support for Cooper Legas, which I like to see. I know you were talking about how Cooper Legas is getting some hate, but I feel like I've seen a lot of positivity toward Cooper Legas, and obviously our text line, they're coming to his defense, even saying that he should be starting over McCae Hillstead. And for me, with what I've seen out of Hillstead, I think he's the better option. But in this case, I feel like reasonable people are going to disagree.
Well, and again, I just want to make sure I make this very clear. If Cooper Legas can be that Cooper Legas that we saw in the second half of that UConn game, I love him at quarterback. Like, again, no hesitation, let it spin, fire when you see it. Just make the read and just throw it. Like, let it rip, man. He's so talented. He's got such a great arm. He's calm. Nothing ever really bothers him. Just give me that Cooper where he's calm and cool and collective. Give me the Cooper that I saw in the second half of the UConn game. Let's go beat Colorado State, and then let's have a discussion about it. I mean, from a media standpoint, right? Coach Anderson, and I'm sure his staff will have a discussion on their end. Maybe that discussion will be a lot different than it will be a lot different than what you and I are seeing because they're coaches. But Yeah, I mean, look, I love the defense for Cooper. I do. I love it. It's loyalty. It's awesome. I don't know if Hillstead's going to get benched for being injured, and I just don't see that happening yet.
Yeah, I don't think that happened. A couple more texts. We need to take a quick break here again. We're a little behind, so we're going to take another break. But a couple of texts from 4409.
Okay.
So I'd like to know what Ajay's favorite Taylor Swift song is.
Okay.
And he also asks, how many games do you think USU women's basketball wins this year?
Oh, all right. So I think Taylor Swift song. Can I get back to you on that 4409?
Yeah, we'll take a break and we'll let you
do that. We'll come
these.
back with the other answers too.
Yeah, we'll have those answers on the other side of this break. So don't go away. 4409.
Ruin my day.
Or none of you. Make sure none of you go away. We'll have more.
We're come back with more Taylor Swift for you all. Hope you're all happy.
We'll be back after this.
Hey, this is Jarek with Jarek's Fine Jewelry. This October marks our 15th year anniversary. So to celebrate, we want to treat you to an anniversary date. Make it a date night on us. Come engagement ring or anniversary ring shopping at Jarek's Fine Jewelry. We have thousands of designs to choose from, including the newest custom designs. With no strings attached and no purchase necessary, we will buy you a sweet treat at Yumberry. The entire month of October, come engagement ring or anniversary ring shopping, and Yumberry is on us. Make date night special. Make it Jarek's.
Elements has delicious lunch specials. Soup, salad, and bread for just $10 is tasty and quick. Elements' lunch menu is full of scrumptious items. Wood-fired pizzas are an excellent choice that include barbecue chicken and the bee's knees. The fresh battered halibut fish and chips with seasoned fries is always a hit. And don't forget the fan favorite, Chipotle fried chicken sandwich. Thursdays, enjoy Elements house-made smoked brisket. Casual or professional. Open Monday through Thursday, 11:30 to 8 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11:30 to 9. Visit theelementsrestaurant.com for reservations.
Do you have a backup generator, or have you explored the options of adding one to your home? Generac backup generators will keep your home or business safe and cool during the summer months if the power goes out. Do you already have a system? Golden Spike Electric can service it for you. If you don't have one, Golden Spike Electric can find the right model for your needs. Find them online at gsegenerators.com or call 435-257-3016. Golden Spike Electric and Generac, power you can count on.
When it comes to home care, it's important to know you have a choice. If you or a loved one is in need of hospice or home health services, remember that Primrose Home Care and Hospice believes in treating the patient as well as the problem. We work directly with you and your doctor to create a health plan that's catered to your needs. Our team is devoted to providing options in the freedom and safety of your own home. Visit us at primrosecare.com or call to schedule a free consultation. Primrose Home Care and Hospice, your local hospice and home health provider since 2006.
Check this out. This is The Herd.
You're excited. I'm excited.
With Colin Cowherd.
You're looking to salvage the pick now with Zach Wilson. What you do is show them off now. Teams are going to be making all sorts of moves. And can you find a team out there that starts 3-3? They lose their quarterback. They don't necessarily think Zach is a 10-year guy, but he's got the best arm on the market.
This is The Herd.
Weekdays from 10 to 1 on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
This is Nate Lamson with Valley Office Systems, your home team when local matters. Valley Office Systems is your local provider for all things office, copiers, printers, furniture, and document management. Proudly serving Cache Valley since 2007. Visit valleyofficesystems.com.
The Aggies are #1 here. The Full Court Press. Connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, and online at 1069thefan.com.
At Napa Auto Parts, they feature all the best brands: Croyle, Amsoil, Schaefer, BG, Seafoam. Find the parts, find the oil you need to keep your car and equipment running at its best. You can find 5 locally owned locations from Preston to Providence. That's Napa Auto Parts. So we'll get a little more into, there seems to be a lot of support for Cooper Legas. We're on one side, a lot of our texters seem to be on the other side. We'll get into that a little bit started next hour.
Yeah,
so I
hold
think
on
it's
to
an
those
interesting
thoughts,
combination.
please.
There's some arguments that I think we need to talk about and stats to throw around that go in favor of both sides. So we'll get into that in the next hour a little bit. There was a question though for Ajay. Did you figure out
Taylor Swift?
Your favorite Taylor Swift song?
Dang it! Who texted that again?
4409.
4409. Fine. Okay.
Thanks for joining the Full Court
Yeah.
Press.
Hey, long-time listener, first-time texter. Appreciate you. Okay, 4409. Give me Teardrops on a Guitar. It really does still. It slaps, as Jason would like to tell you these days. It
slaps. What I say. That's what the kids say.
It slaps you right in the face every time you listen to it.
That's an older one, isn't it?
Oh, man. First album, still a beauty. Still gets me right in the feels.
In the feels.
And what was the other question they asked?
How many games does USC women's basketball win this year?
More than last year.
That's a low bar to clear.
Whoa! Okay, they finished 9th or better in the conference this year.
I think that's...
I may or may not have finished my ballot and turned it back in and have them finish in 9th.
They didn't send me a women's...
Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
They didn't send me a ballot for the women's.
Oh, they didn't?
They sent me one for the men's, didn't get one for the women's.
Well, so at least you get one for the men's. I gotta hear your thoughts on that sometime.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
We'll do it some other day.
And I've got my ballot. I think I saved it. I don't know if I printed it out, but I got it saved. So at some point we'll go over that, and we can go over that tomorrow.
I'll have to listen to Full Court Press.
We'll see how all that goes. But
how much time do we got?
We got about 20 seconds.
Okay, looking forward to continuing this conversation about Cooper and Hillstead. I love the loyalty that people are showing Cooper. Would love to see you kind of bouncing off ideas and kind of conversation from there.
Yeah, it's really interesting conversation. It's a closer one than I thought. I thought a lot more people would be on McCae's side, but there's a lot of defenders for Cooper, and I like that. We'll have more coming up next.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. The Chicago Bears have put their franchise in the hands of Justin Fields. The third-year quarterback showed promise in 2022, rushing for over 1,100 yards. That gave Chicago enough confidence to trade the number 1 overall pick in order to give Fields another season. Through 4 games, that's looked like a questionable decision. Now, Fields was good on Sunday against a very poor Broncos defense, but his entire body of work has been considerably less impressive, especially through the air. Things aren't all bad in Chicago, though. Trading the top pick netted the team wide receiver DJ Moore. He's had multiple 1,000-yard seasons and had over 120 yards receiving this weekend. The deal also involves Carolina's top pick in 2023. First-round picks are far from a sure thing, but at the moment, that currently gives Chicago the top 2 picks in this year's draft. And that could mean Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison. The team's leap of faith with Justin Fields may actually work out after all. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise.